Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. Back here in some old evergreens, getting ready to check out another cool old car. This one's been back here for a really, really long time. I actually bought some cars out of here a couple of years ago. At the time, they didn't want to get rid of this one. Well, the things have changed and ended up getting a deal put together on this one as well. So let's check it out real quick before we drag this one out. 1939 Ford four-door. Now, this car has been disassembled, but I think it's pretty much all here. A lot of stuff stacked inside of it. Obviously, the whole front clip is off of it, but a lot of that stuff is laying around here. The fenders right over there. A lot of the other small parts stashed in that building. Hood's over here leaning against this bus. So, a lot more here than what it looks like at first glance. Obviously, it's been tucked back in these evergreens for quite some time. But we'll get her pulled out of here, get her hauled back to the yard, get the rest of the parts dug out of that old brown building, get this thing hauled in, sorted out, and kind of see what all we've actually got here. Well, we got this old 39 dug out of the trees, got her here to the yard, and actually put it next to the other 39 Deluxe Sedan we've got here. I actually came from the same place. We just bought the other one first, and then we ended up with this one a little later. So, we do have fenders and hood for this car as well. We've already got those tucked away in storage. And the 39s actually to us are kind of a pretty cool car. We've actually got a 39 Deluxe Coupe that we've got stashed. We drug out of a lean-to a few years back. You can check out the clips here on that 39 Coupe. That one's tucked away for one of these days projects for us. But the 39 Ford, arguably one of probably the most beautiful cars that Ford did back in that era. The 40 gets a lot of hype and a lot of press. We actually kind of were looking for a 40 when we found the 39 because we've got the 40 cab over. But after we looked at this 39 and saw the lines of the 39, the teardrop taillights, the headlights, and some of those distinctive features of the 39 we personally kind of fell in love with. And like I said, arguably, but a lot of people will go with the fact the 39 is definitely one of the best looking cars they made in that era. The 39 Deluxe with that grille just knocks it out of the park with the lines, especially on the coupe body. There was a lot of cool things happening with Ford and 39. We've got some literature to go along with some of that and check some of this stuff out. We can start with the 1939 Service Data Handbook, Ford Deluxe, Mercury, Lincoln Zephyr, and commercial cars and Ford trucks. A lot of cool stuff in here. Service data, reference tables on your specifications, model identification. This old original literature gives you a ton of cool information. Always great to have this stuff around. Speaking of which, brakes, pretty big deal in 39. The hydraulic brake system, that was newfangled technology for Ford in that era. Obviously today, hydraulic brakes is on everything. Back then, that was pretty new stuff. So cool to be able to reference this stuff and check it out. Some other interesting things Ford had going on back then. We're gonna look at this ad from the Saturday Evening Post. And this shows a Ford display at the Golden Gate Exposition, where you could actually take a ride in a new Ford. It says up here in 1893 at the Chicago World's Fair, A 30-year-old mechanic, Henry Ford, forgot everything else as he studied a small gasoline engine at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. So obviously, Henry Ford enjoyed these big fairs, liked to go to them, and definitely wanted to make sure his products were displayed prominently at these events, including the Ford Exposition at the New York World's Fair. This was originally folded like this. It opened up to the quality group, the Ford, the Deluxe Ford, the Mercury, the Lincoln Zephyr, and the Lincoln. And there we have a picture of the Ford Exposition. Quite a significant feat with the test track and everything on this as well. And a ton of cool information in this booklet also. Amazing illustrations. There's our picture from our ad. Check this out. This actually still has the original information card for you to receive more information about a Ford product. Please send me free of charge the literature check below. V8 car, V8 truck, a thrifty 60 horse car, the Mercury 8, the Lincoln Zephyr, or a visit to the Ford Rouge plant brochure. So you could even learn more about Ford Rouge plant. 2 cents postage will be paid by the Ford Motor Company. So still in there after all these years. Check out this. These are illustrations. Just amazing. Shows the cycle of production, the different steps in manufacturing the Ford automobiles. Their exhibits that they had set up. The machinery they use. And where your new Ford would be serviced. How Ford and their dealerships are going to take care of you when you buy your new Ford, Mercury, or Lincoln, or Ford truck in '39. So really great stuff. And the crazy part about it is when we was going through that stuff, Ford was not trying to sell you just a new vehicle. Ford was trying to sell you on Ford, the entire company. Here's how we build your vehicle. Here's how your vehicle is going to be taken care of. Here's how we use modern technology to do it. This is why you want to buy a new Ford product. You know, we don't see that today. We don't see people selling you on the entire product, the entire company. Because back then, they wanted to make sure you knew they were doing it right to the best of their ability, so you wanted a new Ford. Which brings us back to this 39. Obviously, this car's been sitting for a really long time, but it is structurally a pretty good car. It is just a four-door, unfortunately, but there's a lot of good things here that we're definitely going to be able to use on our coupe. We're saving, that's why the front end's put away. We need to compare and check what we've got on our coupe. We may need some of those bits and pieces. Let's see what else is in here. We saw where we drug this out of the trees, the whole inside of this car is full. Obviously this steering column, not for a 39 Ford. We did get a 68 Fairlane station wagon out there. Maybe that was out of that. We'll have to go check that Fairlane wagon. But let's see what else we got. These appear to be the frames for the rear quarter windows. So the garnish isn't there, but those frames are good and solid. These are, these are just door panels. Just old door panels that probably are not original. Somebody had made for this car probably years ago when it was still being driven regularly. The original ones were probably deteriorating. These are just covered in black vinyl. And they're all here, so I assume somebody redid these years and years ago for this particular car. And what else do we have here? This looks like probably the right front door garnish with vent window. Oh, all the side moldings are here. This appears to be, those look correct. All the side moldings for this car taken off years ago and tied together and stored inside, so those should all be there. Some headlight lenses. And there's even a bucket. Taillights, these obviously not teardrop 39 Ford taillights, but there's a pair here. I think I also got an 8-cylinder 37 Oldsmobile from this same location. I wonder if these are for the Oldsmobile, because those mounted on the Oldsmobile right up here in this area of the car, and the way these mount, that looks like where they could have mounted on the Oldsmobile, and it says Old U Light on there. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but we'll have to go check that 8-cylinder 37 Olds and see if these are the correct taillights for that particular car. Let's see. Armrests. Old Southwind heater casing, Stewart Warner on that trim. This appears like it was for an old Southwind heater, the ones that actually had a fuel line that basically ran from your carburetor into the car, and these things ran off of gasoline inside your car into the dash. Seemed to work at the time, I guess. I guess it was a good plan, I don't know. Doesn't sound like a great idea to me, but I guess it worked at the time. Here is a radio that is in a custom housing. It's got a Ford badge that somebody put on it. This is a custom fiberglass housing for this radio. I wonder if when maybe they did the door panels on this car, maybe they put a different radio in it. And I'm not sure if this was mounted in this car or what. It was a Mopar radio, model 834. We can see that here on the bottom. Probably late 50s. It's got Mopar knobs on it for sure. It's got a Chevrolet rear seat speaker switch, 56, 57 era speaker switch out of a Chevrolet in it. So obviously a custom piece there that I wonder, like I said, obviously the door panels were redone, so maybe when they were still driving this car, they probably didn't have a radio, so they made one for it. That's one of the interesting things about these old cars. You know, they all have a past, they all have a story, and they all have a history. And as we dig them in, bring them in here and dig through them, we're uncovering that past. Let's see. Front splash panel that went up behind the grill. What's other just miscellaneous? There's an old mirror, old clamp-on mirror. Some seal beam headlights, obviously those aren't out of this. Bunch of wiring. There's the air cleaner for it. And the front seat, actually, believe it or not, is in here. There's a front inner fender panel, and this front seat assembly is actually even still in here. And here's the grille for this car. It's really pretty straight. Got a little surface rust on it, but pretty cool looking grille. Another armrest base. Old wide bolt pattern Ford wheel back under here. There's a license plate. I wonder if this is for this car. Actually, there's several license plates in here. 1970 and 1968. Oh, check these out. 1968 and 1970, 1939 plates found in a 1939 Ford. How about that? That was kind of interesting. No idea those were in there till just dug them out. Some of the stuff we can see the grill and stuff, but that's what's cool about digging through these things. You never know. So I'm wondering if the former owner was able to get 1939 plates for his 1939 Ford, at least in 1968 and in 1970. It's kind of cool. The rest of this old 39 Ford, just like we saw when we picked it up, pretty much a basic four-door body. We do still have the rear bumper here, trunk lid still here. Let's see, take a peek inside the trunk. We can see the housings of these teardrop taillights. Definitely a great looking light on this body of car. In the trunk area, we've got a few more bits and pieces here actually. There's a cowl vent door. Some more heater parts. Oh, here's some of our window regulators, door glass channels, carburetor, hood hinges. Oh, and here's something kind of interesting. Old tire chains. Old Pepsi crate full of old tire chains. Over here on the passenger side of things, oh, here's something kind of cool. See if we can get this out of here too. Tucked up under here, under the front seat, an original 39 V8 cap. It's got a cool look to it. And like I said, the doors are here. The fenders and hood we've got tucked away inside. We've seen a few other bits and pieces of the front end. But that's what's pretty much what's there. Not a ton left, but there again, we've got that 39 Deluxe Coupe that we want to do. Great having a few of these 39s sitting around. So there you've got it. Where we found it, tucked way back in the evergreen trees. Went through some of the bits and pieces that were in there, found some cool things, including the 1939 license plates in a 1939 Ford. I really don't know if I've ever done that before. I don't know if I've ever actually pulled license plates out that have the actual year of the car. And they're not personalized plates. We should mention that as well. These are the actual standard normal issue plates for these 2 years. In fact, this other 1970 plate that was in here is the same color. These were not personalized plates. They were not specialized plates. These are the normal colors, the normal regular issue plates for those 2 years. And they happen to have the 1939 in the 39 Ford. So definitely interesting there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the old 39 Deluxe, checking it out, where we found it, tucked back in the evergreens where it's been for decades, getting it here, getting to go through it, checking out some of the cool stuff, finding the cap, finding the license plates. That's what makes this fun and exciting. So hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We got a lot more cool stuff coming up. If you got any questions about any of these 39 Fords or any of the other 2,000 cars and trucks we got here on the ground at Nobody Else's Auto, just give me a call, 620-786-4428. Having that short conversation about your project, year, make, model, body style, all that stuff's super important for me to know if I may or may not have something here that I can help you out with your project, or if you're looking for a specific project. With the amount of cars and trucks we've got here on the ground, all that information is super critical. So if you like this stuff, be sure to check out the channel, Nobody's Show. Definitely click that subscribe button. Check out some of the other videos. We got a lot of cool old iron on here. I think you'll enjoy it. Plus, we do a lot of cool live stuff you don't want to miss. We have a lot of fun on those as well. So you want to join the group of Nobodies, start hanging out with us, and have a good time. Thanks for watching the video on the old 39 Ford Deluxe. Stay tuned. We got a lot more cool stuff coming up, and we hope to see you soon on the next one.